10. All right. It's Todd Medina, Soul Speaks, Soldier One Studios, part of the Soldier Oneness Network. I got my brother Vell Zimmerman here. I'm going to go into Facebook, go into the group Soldier Oneness Network, and we're going to do our normal thing, get some people in the house. I'm going to have a good show tonight. All right, let's see. Go into, where is it? Guess they're going to make me type it in. So Soldier Oneness Network. Yeah, it's Soldier Oneness Network, all one word.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the network now.
Okay, so then you just go to the live and like you're going to watch it and then mute it because I just checked the sound, it's working. Push share now, and then push share again. Invite members. Did it say invite members or invite friends? So I'm gonna go down the list here and invite 50 people. That's the limit it'll give you. And let's see, get some people from. What time is it? Oh, it's 1 o'clock over there. So get some Australia in the house. I lost you, Lavelle. All right, he'll be back. He'll be back. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right. So he's coming back. It's all right. We got plenty of time. It's actually 7 o'clock right now, so we're good. We got Donna in the house. Hey, Donna. I want to say thank you, as we always want to Donna DeMayo for taking care of us at the Soldier Oneness Network Facebook group. Hello, Maudisa Archangel. How you doing? All right. And we got Lily in the house from Haltom City. Got 6 people in the house. So we got a good show going on tonight. We got Vell Zimmerman. And he's somebody that's been a big inspiration to me. I came off the streets August 2013, so we're going on 4 years. And when I came off the streets, I started to develop, started to put out my memes. I started doing memes and sharing them in different groups and reading other people's stuff. And Lavelle was someone that caught my eye real early. And, you know, he's got an incredible message. It's very consistent. He's, you know, his work speaks for itself. He's very humble. He's very informative, very direct, very straightforward. So as soon as he gets back on, we got plenty of time, so there's no rush. Just let him know. Of course, he already knows. All right. He's also very has a wide variety of skills. I got a group, a little posse put together called, I think, Universal Brothers and Sisters or Universal Brothers, something like that. It's on YouTube, on SoundCloud. I want to say he's got 400 or 500. They have 400 or 500 songs. It's incredible. It's an incredible mix of jazz and rap and spacey hip hop, man. It's just it's really good music. If you guys get a chance to listen to it, I think while we're waiting for him, what we'll do is put on one of his songs. How about that? Let's try this one.
So if you like it, holler. It's nothing to be. Work is gone. Work is gone already. We love the children. Yeah. I don't know why you thought I was asleep.
There he goes. He's a hell of a rapper. I wouldn't call it rapping. I'd call it its own unique style.
On the ground. What's look the free? But the blast off, homie. Hey! Let's go. Dipping through the Astro Bell like songs. On another level, ever like a rebel renegade. Down my flip, but you can flip it, so what makes it man? Yeah. They don't think the pill to make them different than vanilla. I moved the millennium familiar with flipping in the mother looking good and we build up full of tripping son.
Pretty good, man. Very good. World class, really. And the lyrics are incredible. I lost my signal. All right. Well, he'll be back in a minute. We got this. Sound's working. Hey, Penny McLeod. How you doing, Brent Ritchie? Did you like that music, Lily? Yeah, salute the fleet. Madisa Archangel. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. We'll wait on Lavelle all night long. And if anything happens, we'll just do it again another night. Let's go. Got 12 people in the house. I've been in my tomb, keeping cool on my mom brown. Someone so stiff, not fly, plus thunder. Rain while the sun's out, rain while the sun's out. Yeah! They dance for the hawk in the gold blue headdress. So much house, me the lamp is. Take me a sip for I really get the rapping. Come on, baby. Really get it pop up for the free deep. How we get busy in the deep, so deep that the underrated really. Camera's off. Lavelle, if you're on, your camera's off and your mic's off. And hey, if anything goes wrong, we'll do this again. Don't worry about it. Let's put another one on. Oh, there he is.
All righty. So,
all right, let me turn your music off. I was entertaining everybody.
Oh, okay, excellent.
I got a wow, and all right, man. So we got Minnesota in the house. Got Brent Ritchie, Penny McLeod. Good to see you. Got quite a few people in the house actually. Junebug, Lily from yeah. So let me introduce Vell Zimmerman, my brother. Lavelle's over in Germany. I know he's been in. See, I've been off the streets for almost 4 years, and I know he was in the States for a while. Welcome to the show, Lavelle.
Hey, thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
It's a pleasure to have you here, man. I was telling everybody that when I came off the streets almost 4 years ago, because I used to write with a flip phone. That's how I started Soulogy, and then I started doing memes. So I started sharing them to groups, and I saw you, and I saw your work, and I was just telling them that it's been very inspirational to me, even though we've never talked really. This is the first time we've talked in the Earth realm, other than messages. But you've been a big inspiration, huge inspiration to me, not just in the thought processes we have in this transition, but also in the music aspect, And so I just want to say thank you. I've got endless gratitude, love, and respect for you. Tell us a little bit about Vell Zimmerman.
Excellent. Once again, a most beautiful, gracious introduction. I'm very humbled and present and aware of you as a reflection of self. We all experience a great transition here in this process. And once again, all the unfoldments and opportunities that we have been taken advantage of and embraced quite gracefully. And it's been a very, very healing process amongst all of this. So as far as myself, the ambitions and internal fire that is present within the hearts of all of us is one. has a level of intensity within all incarnations, and within this one, it's been very, very intense, and I spent quite a bit of time reestablishing that connection, which has always been there. However, throughout my process, has been rather extensive. So I'm not sure exactly where to start, but I'll keep it very brief. Enjoy music and sports and all the other human activities that we experience here. I moved to Atlanta, where I enlisted in the military after school, intending to experience the college experience and the funding and the world experience that comes with such a venture, and also with the open-hearted intent to serve the country and serve freedom and try to establish a sense of peace and so on and so forth here on the planet. Of course, intuitively, I was very aware and let down by that particular experience, and going through the indoctrination and routed to my first duty station here in Wiesbaden, Germany. From that point, established the outlet of creativity outside of my work, which was music, and also establishing a company where we went out about through the community to creatively amongst the community with some of my cohorts and the guys that you see on the pictures. From there, 4 years active duty, and then I did 8 years as a federal government a civilian, where I got into accounting and contract management and things of this nature. Moved up into the ranks rather quickly because I was very focused and great at what I did. Maybe 2011, I discovered quite a bit of inside information and reached a point where I was above some of the more mundane aspects of operating in a government agency with top secret clearance and things of that nature. Very disheartening.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. The veil was lifted.
You came up the hard way, man.
It was, like I said, it was a process outside of the workplace came with some grounding experiences that helped me deal with it in a way that was more appropriate and less abrasive and aggressive than some of my old natures would cater to. So for the most part, I ended up having open heart surgery based off of some military experiences and the disease I did during my time there in 2011. Let's see, maybe that was November 2011. Quickly after that surgery, well, actually I had a rather different experience after the surgery, which was open heart in in southern Germany. I had once I awoken and returned to consciousness, I had a feeling of assurance and clarity. Of course, it could have been the morphine and some other things that added on to that, but it was rather intense. And I just received
let me just say this. I mean, wow, I had no idea, and you're so humble and gracious. I know you would never even, unless somebody asked you like this, you probably would never even say anything about this, That's an incredible story. Usually the second question I ask people is, did you, and I was going to say to you, with the stuff you put out and the vibration that I pick up from you, if I asked you the question, when did you awaken? I'd probably expect to get the answer the day you were born. But I mean, what was was this experience you had medically? I mean, was this, at the same time, was it a factor, do you think? I mean, was this when you awakened, if that's the term?
It was gradual. It was gradual. I mean, I had my spurts, and of course we have certain levels of awareness, and when we're newly awakened, there's a immediate feeling of resentment and rejection and quite a few other things. However, it was a gradual experience, and then I want to say the activation after that, maybe after the surgery. So, at the time of my position there, right after my promotion and Of course, they called the doctors on me, and got quite a bit of pushback from the establishment because, once again, I was well established in that structure. Everybody enjoyed my presence. I was very vibrant, open-hearted. I worked in an accounting office. I wear flowers, bright clothes, and things of this nature. So they enjoyed having a young, vibrant sense of energy around the office, which I took pleasure in. Very great people. It's just, once again, there's a sense of leadership inside that cannot ignore the obvious, especially when it comes to integrity and things of that nature.
Right.
So, once again, I want a family as well, but I realized if I was going to be any type of figure or play any position in a household, especially when it came to kids, I wanted to actually be a reflection of that integrity and honor and duty and focus that's necessary that usually parents express to their children. So once again, I wasn't willing to be paid off for my freedom to look the other way. So yeah.
We definitely have a parallel there. I had no idea. I didn't go to the military, but I was in the corporate world, and it was the same. I had the same ideals. And then I had the same awakening. I had the same resentment, and I couldn't be bought either. And so I'm happy to know I'm not the only universal gangster out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so that's it. That's incredible, man. So now let me ask you this. And I was telling everybody about the music aspect. I mean, I'm a huge music buff. My whole life I was born in 1961, so in the late 60s, I had a lot of aunts and uncles. I grew up in a surfing town, and so I got to hear everything, Motown, the West Coast sound, Beatles, everything, and so I was amazed when I listened to your work. You guys got like 400 or 500 songs on SoundCloud. When I saw that, is that right? I mean, you guys put a lot of stuff out.
Their numbers are about 875 now. We had to open another account because of copyright issues. So the universal website was first when I opened back in 2012, and then another one maybe about a year ago. Some people enjoy being able to download the music. So for the most part, it's been a very focused journey. Of course, once again, I have a lot of energy and. When it's time to work, this is what I have to do. This is my work. I'm very, very confident in a way of, but this is my work.
Yeah, and you got a hell of a crew, man. And one of the other reasons I identify with you a lot is because I didn't know what I was going to do when I started Soulogy One Studios. I received it, and it just said intuitive, creative, spontaneous, spiritual. All right, and I played the guitar and the harmonica, but I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, and I just started putting on songs and talking, and then But one of the things that I really resonate with is the lyrical thing, because I'm a wordsmith, and so, and I look at your stuff, and I'm like, and I hear this thing, and I'm like going, yeah, I want to do that. So no, because I don't hear that out there. I don't hear, and I'm not saying that that we're all that or you're all that, or I'm just saying that to hear this type of because my attitude is add as many frequencies and vibrations, as many influences as possible. You can't divorce anything in the universe from your existence, so you just keep adding it. So you put that creative element in there, and that's what I see in yours. That's why I asked you one time. I think I sent you a message and said, well, "What influenced you?" And I heard the jazz and the rap. But I want to get back on the subject because that's what this show's about. This show is about taking this information that's not in the mainstream media to the people out there, to the people that are in this transition. And so, the messages are incredible. The messages are just incredible. And one of the things I ask the guest is, what can you tell us? I mean, there's not a lot being said about how to, what's happening, what happens when these energies come down, how do we deal with this stuff and all the things that happen that we're all experiencing. I mean, do you have any good advice you can give us and a little bit of wisdom?
So, and here's there's a fine line there. when it comes to how-tos. Of course, how-tos are logical explanations created within the logical mind to understand certain things. And for the most part, a lot of those efforts have to do with understanding the nature of the divine. Of course, understanding is a linear term we use to basically analyze the entirety of an entire aspect of whatever we're referring to. However, at present, we're speaking of the nature of guidance and being able to embrace the divine connection that's within the heart space. So the how-to in that is quite broad, but at the same time, very, very intuitive. It's more so about allowing and being open. And who we are as the angelic realms and operating from a group consciousness is necessary to understand we're present within the heart spaces of all who are manifestations of the Creator. And with this integrated experience, there's an openness that allows a person to be guided. And that sensitivity, the sensitivity is the strength in your connection with infinite intelligence. Within the angelic realms, we have the ability to slightly manipulate certain aspects of the incarnate's experience. Of course, this is an extremely synchronized experience in being holographic where there are no mistakes. When it comes to eye movement, hand movement, motion, intuitive feelings, the things that you experience on a daily basis, you're actually connecting yourself with that intelligence where it's like eye muscle movements are pointing you in directions of things that are synchronistic to your experience. When it comes to your movements physically, when you can move around the house, when you pick up certain things, when you have ideas that may come in, you allow your sensitivity to guide you into doing the things that are necessary for you to do in embracing your own gifts, your own, the things that resonate with you as a soul, as far as what you intend to do, what you were born to do. So it's more of a sensitive embrace and relaxing and being present. This is where grounding is the most potent of all the aspects of ascension that I focus on for the most part in the nature of guidance.
Let's go back. Let's come back to that. Let's come back to grounding in a second, because I've heard you write about. I mean, I've read several things you've written on it, and by the way, that was a great explanation. I just want to go back and touch a couple of issues. You talk about, you know, a lot of people talk about synchronicities and the importance of it, and I think it's starting to catch on. People are starting to understand. They're starting to pay attention to the external. But what I really liked about what you said, and if you would just elaborate a little bit, and then we'll go to the grounding thing, unless you want to run right into that, if it runs together, is you were talking about the eye movements, the body movements, the intuitive, okay, the imagination, the creative aspect, all this stuff. This is a synchronicity within ourselves, almost like what you're talking about. Can you talk a little bit to that? As far as being aware of it and you know, catching that and, you know, maybe bringing it down to some terms that we can spread this out a little bit further, a little bit wider.
Gotcha. So it's more about not trying.
Right.
It's about relaxing and understanding that the more sensitive and present that you are, the more there's only synchronicity. The more sensitive that you are, the more you realize that there are no mistakes ever. Like everything that you see, everything, passing conversations. One of the things, one of the analogies I like to use is when a person walks into a store and you hear a song on the radio, playing on the store radio or in the car, or whatever the case may be. A lot of times you just suddenly become aware and you realize the lyrics of that song is speaking directly to you.
Right.
It's a rather magical experience where the more calm and present you are, the more sensitive you are to the guidance that's always being provided, always. And this is the nature of that experience.
Yeah, it's I talk about, or at least in some of the stuff I've written, is you know, it's not luck, aberration, or coincidence. And what I really liked about what you had to say was the internal aspect of it. When you start to say, because it is about trust in yourself. You know, love is trust, love is truth. So it is about that self-love quotient, which I think part of that is trusting yourself, trusting what you're hearing, trusting that it is not a coincidence that song, and I love that example, that song is speaking to you, you know, and I know I've had experiences, and I'm sure you have, and I know many others have, where it's other people speaking to you. You're speaking to yourself through somebody else.
Absolutely.
Or somebody's words are written to you. I've even had people say to me, I don't know why I wrote that. Well, and it's, as my friend Israel Kelly said, that's the non-physical consciousness speaking to you, you know. So,
Absolutely.
but you talk about grounding, and I've read some things that you've talked about it. And you said that's the most important thing. Can you talk to us about grounding?
Yes. Grounding is it's a paradoxical aspect of ascension. It's everything and nothing at all at the same time. Just being present and being comfortable with the silence, and it's knowing without knowing. It's the unaware and the awareness of infinite intelligence. Just being present. There's quite a bit of proactivity when it comes to grounding, because it's something that becomes integrated within your experience, where once again, with the nature of healing, grounding is the foundation of this healing, where we're talking about being more present, releasing the mental activity and thought processes of feeling that we are the voice in our head, the light work, the exercise or catalyst of light work, which is basically allowing creativity to become a natural aspect of your everyday experience when it comes to cooking, moving, dancing, talking, embracing the things that you enjoy, when it comes to expressing the nature of ascension, shining your truth, opening your energy field, being consciously aware of your environment, and this the conscious awareness of the emotions that you're entertaining,
right?
Thought patterns and things of this nature. It's a constant practice. It's
Right.
ongoing. There's no stopping when it comes to grounding. It's just that with grounding, you unfold all of the fantastic and magical aspects of evolution.
Right on.
With the calming of the questions and intent to know and research and study and rigorous confirmation, you allow yourself to open to what your intent is and what you're intending to become aware of. It's absolutely natural. Everything that you intend, all the questions that you have, are always being put into place and becoming natural aspects of your experience. However, it's not possible to embrace these miracles and this awareness from a true sense of depth
Right.
when you're up here.
Right.
So
right.
the more you're present, the more you allow these things to take place and manifest within your reality. So it's integrated experience, and there's quite a bit, but in a nutshell.
I think that's and what I'm getting out of this, and this is where my question was coming from, is when you talk about grounding, you know, to me, and this is, and I totally understand what you're talking about, because there's not any words for it. it's like, but I love the way you explain it, because it's that it is a conscious thing. It's a conscious thing to consciously be aware and to consciously grow that awareness. This is just my opinion, but because we're synthesizing that up here and the human consciousness, we're synthesizing it. And I love that, because it's not necessarily a meditation. It's not necessarily a mantra. This is just being You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just being and being aware of these senses, so to speak, beyond the five senses and so on. You know, and like you said, these questions are being reciprocated. These energies are being reciprocated. That's part of the grounding to me, is where I'm walking around and saying, oh my, you know, oh my God, you know, I go out and commune, connect. The next day, this miracle, like you're talking about, happens, and the physical mind seems like it takes a little bit to catch up and accept it. You know, maybe.
Absolutely.
Do you, can you speak to that a little bit? Because, you know, like this last weekend, I know people were just tripping hard, man. They were like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
The sky is falling, Chicken Little, you know?
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's let's put it this way. There's so much. However, there's only now. You cross these bridges when you get there. There's so much to experience here. So many miracles, so many tons and tons of explanations and things of this nature. However, once again, these experiences are all integrated within the nature of existence. It's more so about being here. Yes, there's a bunch of different exercises. Put your feet on the ground, go to nature, and things of this nature. However, there's also experience. There's also the nature of the illusion, which is a blessing, and being a catalyst of that grounding, being a catalyst of the work of shining the light amongst humanity. There's billions and billions of souls that intend wholesomely, however, are not or don't have the present strength to embrace it fully. However, in being awakened, you have the ability to shine that light amongst the public, regardless of the opinions and the ego talk and the mental programming may still input from. However, as healers, it's the nature of our presence. This is the work that we're here to do, not forcefully, but gracefully, through an example and just being here and accepting, unconditionally loving, compassionate, empathetic versus sympathizing, participating in the lower frequencies. Being here and going about our experience with a sense of grace and heavenly presence that's somewhat unfamiliar amongst humanity. So this is the nature of what we're here to embrace and experience. That's right, man. We're making history. Absolutely. we're the new good book. Absolutely. Every 8 billion of us. Let me ask you this, Lavelle. This is something that I think you would be able to help the audience, help all of us with. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, I look around at a lot of our contemporaries that are out there with the intention. We're all about intentions. It's our energy, you know, and I see, and I did too, you know, I mean, I did too. I'm not going to discount this. A couple of years ago when I came out really hard with videos, you know, I was cussing 9/11 and this and that and all that stuff. But, you know, like you said, it just keeps going. It keeps going. And if you're aware, you keep getting to a higher understanding, if you will. But still see a lot of people talking about the big dark cabal and the Illuminati and you know, this and that. And let me ask you this: how do you approach that? How do you deal with that? I know how I do, but I want to hear how you do this. I mean, what do you recommend? What's your formula? What's your recipe? Compassion. They are here to do something very specific, and for the most part, a lot of what's taking place, especially amongst the mainstream media, and the population here. There's an attempt to emotionally manipulate humanity. Right. There's an attempt to grab hold of the emotions and parade very distorted experiences and some of the most horrible imagery experiences amongst the entire population. And with this comes the entertaining of the dark energies that has maintained the enslavement of humanity.
Exactly.
It's your conscious choice and being aware of the illusion to decide to pay attention or invest energy in the truth versus the illusion.
Right.
They try very, very hard to pull the strings of emotions amongst humanity, because once again, how you feel and what you invest your energy into is what decides what takes place next. How you feel decides what happens next. So they're going to poke fun at you and attempt to manipulate you as much as possible. The truth is very graceful and silent and present.
Right.
The illusion tries very, very hard to convince you that it's real, and it's not. It's explosions and lights and all these things that attempt to grab your attention and say, hey, look at me, please. Oh my God, it's so disgusting, it's so sad. Oh my God, please do something. And at the end of the day, there's still a heart space and peace that realizes that it's not real, and it is a leader's responsibility to not feed it.
Exactly.
That's why this being a leader is very hard.
Yeah, and so I just want to restate that. I want to make sure that we got the. I mean, this is an incredible. This is probably the best one I've done. But yeah, because I mean, this is the stuff that people don't talk about. This is the stuff that needs to get out there. This is the how-to, and it's it's not. I've always said there's an infinite simplicity versus the finite complexities of the physical mind or the external. But what you're saying is that what we internalize is what we externalize. What we give our attention to that's energy. We are energy. What we give our attention to is what we're going to. I'm very simple. I'm not. I just have to keep things simple. I get too complicated, and I can't get into these deep discussions. But this is not complicated. What you're saying is that again, it's almost like a collective ego, collective soul. And the collective ego, yes, we have compassion, we have respect and love for that ego because it is our teacher. It's what we learn from. It's just not supposed to be driving the bus. That's all. It's supposed to be sitting next to us. But yeah. So I love that explanation, and I know everybody is receiving from different essences, if you will. And this is something I think we should talk about because we are all the same. There is only one. All merges to one. This is I think something that's very accepted with the people that are on this path. So there's the angelic, there's the galactic, there's infinite. What's your take on all that? How does that all work? Or did I explain that question properly?
I got a lot of it, and I'm going to assume you want somewhat of an explanation of the nature of the spiritual hierarchy.
Well, I'm just saying, for me, it's all for me. For me, it's just all me. But I've got a lot of friends out there, and you do too, that are channeling this, channeling that, this, and so I mean, it's all the same. But at some point, there's a physical. There's a physical, even if it's other dimensional, a physical, external, merging somewhere, or coming close to what is the pure unseen. I don't really know how to exactly pose this. Where one starts, one stops. I mean, you're talking about a hierarchy. Is there a hierarchy? Did I lose you? Let's see if he comes back. Okay, he's going to come back in. Maybe it was the question. Hey man, this is a great one. I'm gonna convince him to come back on. I think what we need to do is get him to get an Ethernet cable so we can get a better signal. Let's see. We got a few comments in here. Okay, there's Lavelle. We got you, Lavelle. Don't worry about it. We're good. So when he comes back, we'll see if we can see what his take is on what did he call it, the spiritual hierarchy. Talk about that a little bit. One of the reasons I want to do this is because there's people out there that are adamant about certain things they receive, and I would totally respect that. Everybody's experience is valid. The universe communicates to each one of us differently. We receive differently. We all have different experiences. I am going to invite him back. I was telling him offline that Medina Archangel. We'll ask him when he gets back. But I was telling him offline, hey Maria, how you doing, Canada? I forgot what we were talking about. but there's a lot of people. Everybody's picking something up, and I know in my case, in the beginning, I picked up Sananda Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Angels, Spirit Guides, souls that had crossed or that had passed from this physical realm. I think we all know that in the endless end, it's all one. We're all one to the nth degree. But I think in this transition, we have a different set, kind of a different reality than we would have on the other side. We don't have our toe in this side. We're on the other side. So that's kind of where my question was going. Just what's his take on it? Maybe this is something I'll start asking some other people too, because to me, open is open. I mean, if it never ends. It's all limitless. Every aspect of the universe is limitless, but again, we're in this transition, so we have these unique experiences as humans evolving into a knowing divine being in a human experience. Let's see what we got here. We got a wow. That was powerful. I think that's talking about Lavelle. Yes, we are one, and thank you for the release today. So, if anybody has any questions, we've still got 19 minutes, but we might run over a little bit since we've had some problems. If anybody has any questions specifically for Lavelle, you might want to put them up now, and I'll get him on him when he gets back in here. Hopefully he'll get back in here. I'll tell you what. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Is I was telling him before the show. We've never spoken. We've exchanged messages maybe 7 or 8 times, and I said, I got to tell you, there's about 5 people close to me, and I've met these people, or at least had long standing relations with them if I haven't met them in the flesh. And I said, and you're one of them, and I've never even talked to you. And so I was talking to him about 5 or 6 different dimensional interactions that I had with him, and I knew he'd be aware of them, and he was. So, for whatever reason, we're very connected, and I'm very grateful for that. He's a hell of a guy. He's the epitome of consistency in terms of his message and humility and gratitude, and obviously his unconditional love. Let's see, we got a few comments here. Teresa Lepre Rivera. It's a merge, yeah. I think she's talking about the synthesis of the human consciousness and the what we might call the higher self. Then we got Aaron. What's up, my brother? It says one means collective one, an individual one at the same time. Let that blow your mind for a while. Well, it doesn't blow my mind. I get that. That's why, here comes Lavelle back. But that's a good comment, Aaron. when I received Soulogy in the beginning 5.5 years ago, they said keep it simple, and there's there is one higher power. There's a perfect order to the universe, and the third one was we're all one unique and equal soul. So I totally get that, and I agree with you. Hey Renee, how you doing? And here's I think Lavell's having a little bit of a problem. Let's see. Oh, there he is.
So
we got you.
all right, so my sound okay?
It's perfect now, man.
Perfect. I once again apologize for
No,
the
man, it's okay, man. I'm already telling them I'm gonna beg you to come back. I think people need to hear your message. It's fresh, it's original. And I would just tell them, of the people that I watch or the people that I read, so many of us that spend so much time doing what you do, what I do, we don't even get to read people's other stuff. But you're very consistent. You're very gracious, and your message is very clear. And I love the fact that it comes out fresh every time. I mean, sometimes you put out, man, how many you put out a day? I mean, sometimes I get up and you're like 6, 7 in a row, and it's like boom, 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 boom.
Well, once again, it depends on what's necessary to be expressed. I'm working with, for the most part, there's a lot of energy here, and I'm doing quite a few different projects across the board. But for the most part, in leading the way within my presence. Like you said, individual paths are tendency and being focused within the individual self, where they're doing their own work, where this is more so a catalyst of that work, and all actually embracing their own focuses and missions versus me being a platform of answering questions and things of this nature. Of course, these are necessary. However, the trust within the individual is absolutely necessary to continue forth.
Absolutely, yeah. They when you cut out, there was some interest in the question about the what you referred to as the hierarchy. Do you mind expanding on that a little bit?
Yeah, not a problem at all. Of course, the entirety of the spiritual hierarchy is beyond comprehension, so I'll just start with that. However, there are levels of operation which has been expressed by quite a few. Within the hologram, of course, the holographic nature of this physical reality stands, where the separation and incarnates, things of that nature, all come back to the one in being prime creator.
Right on.
There's the ascended master realms, angels, archangelics. There's the group consciousness that manifests themselves as planets, solar systems, galaxies, logos, all the way up through the councils of the galaxies, solars. We're talking all the way from the micro to the macro. There's a lot to play with when it comes to the spiritual hierarchy. However, as far as the structural basis is beyond, what we would understand, what humanity will look at as the family tree type of structure. It's quite more. It's a little more complex than that, being that we're dealing with infinite universes, infinite possibilities. However, they're there. But at the foundation of all that, beyond all the algebra, there's one. And one is you.
That's right.
That one is you.
Yeah, I was just curious as to what you might say about that, but you're absolutely right. We got a lot more to worry about than that. We don't need to be worried about all that stuff.
Well, once again, there's a lot, and it's an integrated aspect of this transition, that expansion and awareness. But this always goes back to grounding.
Yeah, so let's. We got a little over 10 minutes left, and if anybody has any questions for Lavell specifically, put them up, and we'll get to them. Well, we got a question here, I think, Nori Love regarding, and we hear this a lot. You know, I haven't heard anybody talk about it on the show, but the Pleiades or Pleiadians. A lot of people talk about receiving from them, from that group. Can you speak to that a little bit? Do you know anything about that?
Definitely. There's some different groups that have a very, very deep and integral aspect experience of the human species, the Palladians being one. There's a particular essence that many share as far as their connection with humanity and the part that they play throughout the linear process or transition as far as humanity's evolution. Centaurians, Lyrians, the Syrians all have a very, very deep integral connection to the human species and being a part of the family. The human body vehicle's original design and therefore afterwards. So they have quite a bit of presence here. And once again, there's a lot of aspects of this transition that's basically set up to rectify and balance of these. For the most part, we are orchestrating these things quite gently because it's quite a bit of information to share with humanity. So we allow it to come out very graciously and patiently. So that's
right
the nature
on.
going on. Absolutely.
Well, like you said, I mean, that's like the trigonometry and the calculus, but you know, because really, the you know, and again, in our transition, you know, it doesn't behoove us to get into all this stuff if we're not taking care of a business within ourselves, because again, it's all within ourselves. We are it. We are it. It's us. And
absolutely.
So we get this stuff that you can't put words into, and we're trying to put it into words. And that's kind of what you know I try to do with this program is give us the how-tos. And again, your explanation was great. And you know, I want to go back to the grounding one more time. Just you know, did you have an evolution in terms of, you know, did you try meditation? Did you go into mantras? Did you go into affirmations? Because it sounds to me like you received or you awakened or whatever right around the same time I did, which was May of 2011, and it sounds like you know, you're moving pretty fast here. Did you study anything, or are you just mostly receiving this stuff from infinite intelligence?
There's a combination of both. However, that was the learned information was more so an aspect of my newly awakened phase. After my heart surgery, I resigned from my position in August of 2012. My activation date was the 8/8 Lions Gate of that year. Quickly after, maybe about 2 or 3 months of meditation and playing around in the woods, I was contacted directly by the spiritual through God, where they communicate Michael, incarnation of Commander Ashtar, and represent the essence of an aspect of the Elohim, where the evolutionary process that I went through would be very, very fast paced, and being that I had such a position and responsibility where the energy and nature of my presence was, it was all integrated within my experience, where I was able to take a lot of the corporate governmental experiences into the back end and front end of the spiritual work that was necessary for me to express the nature of what's taking place here. So from that point on, my guide, Centaurian and Thaddeus Jackson, which was the original catalyst of a lot of the awareness that that was established during my awakening, contacted me directly and informed me that we were one of the same essence, and that I would be ground commander of Star Season Light, his departure. He's made about 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years for us the work that's been done. And he contacted and let me know that that was the nature of my presence.
Right on.
And, he would be sharing quite a bit of aboard A5 and some of the other motherships during my sleep time. And this is a very vigorous and intense experience where a lot of things happen in the physical world and the spiritual realms in a very short period of time. So I lost my house, car, my wife, broke my leg, had my heart surgery again. Quite a few different things happened in a very, very, very short amount of time. And for the most part, during this time, it was necessary for me to embrace my creativity, to remain present and stay focused. And they communicated that to me December of 2012, heading into 13. And maybe about March of 2013, I was fully active and creating on a daily basis. So that was the nature of my experience there. And now it's written right there at the moment, and my collective consciousness is very intense and very potent. So that's where a lot of the information comes from.
Yeah, brother. At least I don't feel like a freak anymore. Yeah, people try to climb me off, peel me off the ceiling sometimes, but no, I everything you say deeply resonates, and that doesn't surprise me. We have a question from Ava Cohen for you. She says, how would you best advise a person who is walking the path but has an online audience on another page here on Facebook that is not on the path? I have found myself not expressing myself or my experiences because of the frequency of the reactions I receive. Should I just go for it and start writing more? I am sure I know the answer, lots of laughs, but could you share how you deal with the less than kind responses? Thank you, much love. Thank you, Ava. Ava.
Well, the nature of unconditional love is, it has its foundation in self-love. And that self-love grants you the ability to embrace your own sense of dignity and respect that you would expect from others. So you share what you share, and you continue to share what you share. If it's necessary for you to block individuals and keep them off of your platform of expression, then this is the nature of the experience. Once again, being unconditionally loving and understanding is not about a lack of personal responsibility or even being a punching bag to anybody. If a person is allowing the frequency of the dog to express harmful things of that nature or be formed, then once again, you have the ability to once again block these individuals. Once again, it's not necessarily about cutting people off or getting away from negative. This is, these expressions are based in maintain a blissful, harmonious, and peaceful place and vibrancies amongst individuals to connect with social media. Necessary sometimes for us to police that particular page, block quite a few individuals because of them not resonating with what would be a platform to express ourselves on these media platforms. And if a person doesn't again, they have every right to do that or express their opinion or whatever the case may be on their own page. However, when it comes to cursing and being disrespectful and things of that nature, or distortions, or an abundance of questions, where sometimes people ask questions with the intent of establishing an audience. They question your intent. It's like that. Well, at the end of the day, they're not interested in speaking to you directly. They like to speak with you with a group of people watching the responses and attempting to gather an audience. So once again, you have the ability to not entertain these things. And if a person doesn't resonate with it, that's healing that's necessary for them and not you. You continue forth with your work and empathetic and compassionate. Well, you have a mission. And you know what that mission attempts to stop us in doing a lot of different things here. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right on.
Mm-hmm.
That's right on. You're getting a lot of great comments here. So, I hope that you'd be interested in coming back.
Of course, of course, most definitely.
We're putting together a pretty solid, consistent programming, a few hours a day. I think next week it's really going to lift off next week. Let me ask you a couple of questions because we're running out of time this time. But
okay.
Are you going to come back to the States and visit?
I am. Here soon. I will be back. I'm attempting to stall it a little teeny bit. I'm here in Germany, and a few projects on the table with the guys with Universal Brothers, and things are moving by very. I do have to establish a nice foothold here before I make that move.
Cool. Well, I just want you to know that we're putting in a studio here in New York City. So if you guys happen to come this way, you're welcome to come in and do some recording.
Oh, excellent. That'd be great.
And I also want to tell you that on your last note there, one of the things I really have a great deal of respect for you is the way you do handle yourself online. You just hit it and go. And I have a lot of respect for that because you don't see people. Most everybody gets pulled in sooner or later by somebody, some antagonist or something like that. But your story's incredible. It's an incredible thing to be able to see you after spending so much time in the ethers with you. But I just want to say thank you. Deepest gratitude, love and respect to you, Lavelle, and I want to send you the purest love and light, healing, comfort, peace for you. I know you're powerful and strong, and I know you're fine. And I hope to see you here in the States soon, and I hope to see you back on here real quick, maybe in a week or
Anytime.
two. Well,
Anytime.
If you tell me that, I'm gonna go for it.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I want to wish everybody, thank everybody for joining us. We had a big crowd tonight, Lavelle. I want to wish everybody peace, power, protection, and big love from Todd Medina for you and yours, and Vell Zimmerman. Peace out.
Absolutely. We love you.
Love you. Thank you, Lavelle.
Not a problem.